What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Coming at you tonight with a SmackDown live review. This is the second time I'm streaming. I'm going to find a good stream, but right now this is going to have to do. So, let's see. I keep hearing this echo in the background. I'm not sure why. Um, Play some music. So tonight we coming at you live. I'm coming at you live with a SmackDown review. I'm just trying to get my notes together. I was working on this one stream, but it's not cooperating with me. So we're gonna do StreamYard, and I'm gonna continue to play with this. I'll eventually get it together over here. But in the meantime, at least you know I'm live, and we're just gonna go ahead and start, so nothing else will go wrong. So, like I said, tonight is Friday night. We're doing Friday Night SmackDown. I had all this scheduled and everything like this, but I'll have it together on Monday. Hopefully. Pray for me. I'll have it together on Monday. Let me just turn the camera this way. There we go. So it looks like I'm looking at people. Turn my light on. There we go. I know people gonna look at this like, what is going on with this boy here? All right. So pretty much tonight, it was an okay show. Nothing really to rave about other than outside of Lita. That was pretty much it. The roster definitely is in shambles. The company's in shambles. The roster's struggling. The company is struggling. I mentioned that in my notes. There was some stuff I didn't even pay attention to. I think I said this last week, or I said this Monday. SmackDown used to be one of my favorite shows. Used to be one of my favorite shows in general, just outside of everything. SmackDown used to be one of my favorites, especially around the 2016, 2017 when they went solo and they had Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, and the women's division over there was really taking off and they were really just holding their own. It was a really, really good show. But lately, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's like ever since they moved to Fox, things have just gone downhill. So, it's hard to say if things will change, but it's not a good show. And it's crazy because this is WrestleMania season. Like, this is WrestleMania season. This is where you got to start hyping stuff up. And I hate when you have like one of their biggest shows of the year, but they don't treat it like that, because they should already, I feel like they don't even have the Royal Rumble all the way planned out. The Mania should be planned out. You shouldn't just have 2 or 3 matches planned out. You should have your whole card planned out. You should know how you want the next couple of months, the part that you can control, or how you want it to go. I was reading that the women's matches are supposed to be Bianca versus Bianca versus Becky, which we already knew that, and Sasha versus Charlotte, which we already kind of figured that was going to happen, even though I don't really know too many people that want to continue to see a Charlotte versus Sasha match because they've worn it out, just like they do with the New Day and Usos. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to just go ahead with this review. Like I said, there were segments that I did not pay attention to. I had no desire to pay attention to. And it is what it is. I hate it. I just really hate it, because this should really be an important time of the year for the company, and it just doesn't feel like it. So, my glasses are a little foggy, but it's sad. It's really, really sad for it's sad the direction the company is heading into. So anyway, let's get started with the show. It's Friday Night SmackDown. Yay. And pretty much the show opens up with the Usos, which I'm surprised by that, because normally, it opens up with Roman Reigns because he's the most important person in the company in their eyesight. The show opens up with the Usos, and They start to talk about, you know, how they went to war with the New Day and how they beat them. The war is over, but they also respect them because the New Day pushes them. And, you know, the Usos and New Day, they're like 1 and 2. They're like the best tag teams in the world, probably some of the best tag teams ever. You're really going to get a bad match out of them unless the other opponents just are not catching on. But you're really going to get a bad match out of them. They come out, they do that whole rundown about the New Day, and then we find out that we're having a fatal 4-way to determine the #1 contendership for the tag team titles for SmackDown side. So we already got Raw titles figured out. No, I'm sorry, we don't have Raw titles figured out. We got new champions on Raw. So now we got to figure out who's going to go against the Usos at Royal Rumble in about 2 weeks, I think. So, you know, there's no division. I've said this. Other people in the community have said this. Twitter says it. There's no division. You can look at the show and tell that there's no division. For instance, tonight we have 2 teams that are actual tag teams, and then 2 teams that they just randomly pull some names out of a hat and decided that we're going to make you a team tonight. So the 2 teams that are actually tag teams are Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo and the Viking Raiders. And then the teams that are made up that they just that they saw somebody walking down the hallway and threw them together are Cesaro and Mansoor and Jinder Mahal and that guy that comes out with Jinder Mahal. Like, what? Okay. All right. Like I said, they're struggling. They're struggling bad. Merge your divisions together. A division is not 4 teams. Well, 2, because you put 2 together. So 2, and then next week those teams that they put together will be broken up again. So you don't have any real teams out there. Now I will say that as the match started and the match went on, the crowd was really hot tonight. The crowd was really into it. It was a good match. It wasn't a bad match because a lot of the guys in the ring are good wrestlers, but it's just no division. You can't get invested because there's no division. Just like the women's tag team, you know, we had so many teams. When did the title start? 2018, I think. We had so many teams and then they went away. So it's like what? They went away, and yeah, I don't know, man. It's sad. It's really, really sad that this company doesn't see that Vince doesn't take tag team wrestling to be super important. Anyway, the match is going on. The crowd is really into it. The Viking Raiders win, as they should. There was nobody else to win. I don't think we've seen the Viking Raiders versus the Usos. If we have, it hasn't been that often, so that'll be interesting to see that match. I don't see them giving them the titles because I don't see the Usos not going into WrestleMania without the tag titles. I don't know who they're going to go against in WrestleMania, but maybe they'll make up another team like they always do and try to figure it out for them. But they're not going to have the Usos off the card. So it's 2 nights. You got to fill it up somewhere. I don't know what else to say about it. You know, I don't know what else to say about the division. Again, it was a good match for what it was. The crowd was really into it. The right team won. I know they're going to kill at Royal Rumble, so that'll be good to see them go against each other. The Usos, like I mentioned earlier, they never really have a bad match. Neither do the Viking Raiders. They're really, really good, especially when they were in the old NXT. They're really, really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing that match. I don't really know if they're going to build up the storyline. WrestleMania. Royal Rumble's in like 2 weeks, so I don't really see the point in them trying to build up a storyline. But knowing them, they'll throw something random together. Next, we move on to what I think is drawn out, what I think needs to end, should have been ended. I don't care to see the match. I don't know too many people that do care to see the match, and that's Naomi versus Sonya Deville. I love Naomi. I ride hard for Naomi. I'm ready for her to move on. Naomi was number 2 for the Royal Rumble before we found out that Sasha got injured, because I wanted Sasha to win, but now I want Naomi to win. I want Naomi to move away from this storyline. I want her to move into the championship picture. I want her to win the title. Even if you just want to have Charlotte versus Naomi versus Sasha, I'm fine with that. But we got to get her away from the Sonya Deville, especially if we're not going to have the match, because all we're doing is the repeat. We're doing the interference. Like, nothing is happening. It started off really hot, and then it just went away. It just went away. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. They got to get away from it. I don't see Sonya, unless she's going to enter the Rumble. I don't see her getting into the ring anytime soon. It's been over a year, almost 2 years, maybe, since she's been in the ring. So it's been a long time since Sonya's been in the ring. And like I said, when that first started, everybody was super excited for it because Naomi was getting time. Everybody always wants her to get time on TV, and we were excited about it. But now they're drawing it out. So we're backstage and we're trying to figure out the same storyline. Why Sonya doesn't like Naomi? What is it that Naomi has done? Why do you keep interfering? And it's the same rehearsed, thing. When I had this jacket on, you can't touch me. If you touch me, you'll lose your job. You'll get fired. Blah 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 blah. When the jacket is off, then we can fight. But the jacket's never off. It's always on. We haven't seen you get in the ring yet. So, only way I can see this going one or two ways. I can see them just having a random throwaway match on SmackDown, or I can see Sonya trying to either take Naomi's spot away in the Rumble, or see her enter the Rumble and try to eliminate Naomi, but Naomi ends up eliminating Sonya. I really want Naomi to win. She can be in the Final Four, but I want her to win. I don't really see anybody else. I mean, they might give it to Alexa Bliss. I don't want to see that. They might give it to Rhea. I'm okay with that. Bayley's not going to be back in time, and Sasha's not going to make it. So I read online somebody wanted Mickie James to win, but she's not going to win, people. So don't get your hopes up. Let's move on. After the commercial break, we get back and we're with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is great. I hate what they have him in. I hate this storyline that he's in. I don't even know if it's a storyline. They don't want to do anything with him. I don't know if they're scared or they don't have any desire to do anything with Sami Zayn. And it's like you have all that talent, and he can pretty much do whatever that you give him. He's an excellent heel, and you guys just really are not using him. And he has this going over here with Johnny Knoxville from Jackass, and then he has this going over here with Shinsuke and Rick Rude. And it's like, which direction are we going into? We know Jackass is just there just to be for promotion reasons, but why is Sami Zayn even involved in that? Anyway, he's given this segment, and he makes the best out of it because he's Sami Zayn. But he pretty much is like, it's a conspiracy theory. I should have had my match. When am I going to get my match? And we all wondering. I thought he was going to have his match at day one. And to this day, we don't know why he didn't have that match at day one. It was never explained, or at least in my mind, I thought he was going to have it. He comes out and then on top of that, he was supposed to have Shinsuke was supposed to be out. Shinsuke was supposed to be out and injured, from what I read online, but it didn't say how long that he was going to be out. So I was like, well, then, what happens with the title? Then I'm like, how's he injured? He's not even having any matches unless he's having house show matches, or he injured himself at home or something along those lines. But Sami does the first episode of InZayn, so kind of like Insane, but it's InZayn with his name. He comes back out in the shopping cart, and he and it's funny. It's funny because Sami Zayn, he makes the best of it. But he comes back out in the shopping cart. He does several countdowns, and he does a lot of screaming and stuff like that. And I chuckled, I laughed a little bit, but outside of that, it was stupid. He gets close to the ramp because he was supposed to be in the shopping cart and do one of those stunts that they do on Jackass, where you come down the ramp, and he was going to go down the ramp in the shopping cart and fly into the ring. Clearly, that was not going to happen. So he gets in the ring. The crowd is booing because they really want to see it. He gets in the ring and he starts talking to the crowd, and then Rick Rude comes out and gets on the ropes. And then out of nowhere, Shinsuke comes out, and I'm like, oh shit! I thought he was hurt, but apparently he's not. So maybe we'll get the match. I don't know when, because Sami entered the Rumble. So maybe again another throwaway match. Maybe in Saudi Arabia. I don't know, but there's no reason why they shouldn't have had the match. There's also no reason why Sami should not have the title around his waist. So it's just as simple as that. We go backstage to a segment with Aliyah and Natalya. And I guess Natalya's gimmick is the whole Guinness Book of World Records, whatever 3 records she holds in the book for the company. And she says she's the clear winner because she holds these records. She's the clear winner of the Rumble. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what Rumble that is, but you keep dreaming. Dream big. We don't want to see you in the main event. We don't want to see you in the main event. She goes into the ring. Aliyah's in the ring, and they have a back and forth. Natalya's like kicking her ass. And the whole thing is like, is Aliyah going to make it through the match? Is she not going to make it through the match? The ref at one point says she can't make it anymore. So they say, Aliyah, the match is over because Aliyah can't make it. Then she jumps up and she's like, no, I can finish it. I can finish it. So they like, the match is back on. She can finish the match. And then she does a roll up and gets the victory in about 3.1 seconds. So she now has set the new records of the shortest match of all. Mind you, that was the only women's match tonight. That tells you what they think about the women's division. They have no desire to really book that division to its full capability as they used to book it. Thanks, Bruce, John, Vince. Up next is Lita segment, and I love Lita. Like I love when she was with the Hardy Boys. That's when I was younger and was really into wrestling. I also read online, I read on PW Insider that this is a last minute decision, which just sounds like WWE. And she was not booked to be a part of the show until yesterday. And then she was called and a plane ticket was purchased for her. So they were desperate. They needed some help. They brought her out there. I don't really know why, because it was just a back and forth between her and Charlotte. But why was she there? She was there because WWE's desperate. They don't have anybody, and they're too scared to push other people. They release all the damn people anyway, all the women, as I should say. So Michael Cole's in the ring, and he introduced her, legendary Hall of Famer Lita. She comes out, the crowd goes crazy because, again, who doesn't love Lita? Everybody loves Lita. And Michael Cole pretty much asks her, why are you back in the Rumble? And she goes on and says, I've done this, I've done that, but back in my time, we didn't have the Rumble. So I want to come back, and I feel as though I have one more run left in me. And of course, as she's talking, here comes Charlotte, because Charlotte has to be involved in everything. That's never going to. They're always going to push the Charlotte agenda. And Charlotte says, what happens when I humiliate you and throw you out the ring, because I'm going to win the Rumble and I'm going to pick my opponent for the Royal Rumble, which I don't even know why she's in the match. I'm sure she could have been replaced by somebody else, but whatever. And Lita goes to smack her, but then she stops herself, and then she hits her with a twist of face, and she gets up out the ring, pretty much trying to embarrass Charlotte. If Lita does, as like I said with Beth, I think Beth has one more run in her. I don't know if Lita has one more run in her, because her last couple matches were a little sloppy. But I would like to see her, but I don't want to see her versus Charlotte. I wouldn't mind seeing Lita versus Sasha, or Lita versus a Naomi or a Bailey. That's more her speed. Charlotte, I don't want to see another Charlotte and Legend feud, unless it's like Charlotte and Beth. Other than that, we don't need to see it. So that was that segment. Next, we have a match between Sheamus and Ricochet. They do highlights from when there was a number one contendership for the Intercontinental title, and Ricochet was in that match, and I think he eliminated Sheamus or the other way around. And then they end up having a match at day one between Cesaro and his other partner Ricochet, and then Sheamus and his partner, and his name's not coming to my mind right now. But Ricochet, in the match, Ricochet broke his nose. So for the last 2 weeks, they have been going off of Ricochet broke his nose, which he really did break his nose. So that has been like the story for Sheamus and Ricochet, and he's, I guess, trying to get some payback for his friend who Ricochet broke the nose of. It was a good match. You can never go wrong with Ricochet. Ricochet is one of those guys that, as much as this hurts me to say, I want him to leave the company. If he gets released, I'm not going to be surprised, because Ricochet is so much better than this. He can go somewhere else and be great. I just don't think he's going to be great with this company. I think he's the go-to guy for a quick match, or the go-to guy to sell for somebody, the high flyer. But I don't really see them putting a lot of effort into him. And I can't tell you why, because if you go back and look at how he was treated in NXT and the reaction, the crowd loves him, what he can do in the ring. There's no reason why he can't be one of the top stars in the company. I really think I wouldn't mind him winning the Rumble. I know it's not going to happen, but I wouldn't mind him winning the Rumble. And I also wouldn't mind him having some kind of championship under his belt, whether it's the Intercontinental ship, whether it's the tag team, hell, whether it's the WWE Championship. I think Ricochet is that good, so why have they really invested in him? I can't tell you why. I have no idea. Maybe he's not liked backstage, or I don't know. We move on to part 2 of this Naomi and Sonya feud. So maybe it is coming to an end, because we've seen them twice tonight. And the big thing was the office that Sonya and Adam was in is very hot. The office is very hot, and it's like what I'm going to say is going to sound so crazy. That's why it's taking me a minute to get my thoughts together. The base of the storyline, other than we're trying to figure out why Sonya doesn't like Naomi, is if my jacket is on, you can't touch me. I'm the boss. I'll fire you. You'll lose your spot in the Rumble. If my jacket is off, then we can go. So it's hot in the office. Adam's going to figure out what's wrong, why the air isn't working. So Sonya takes her jacket off, and in walks Naomi, who sees her with her jacket off. Naomi's getting ready to give her a nice beat down, and then Adam comes out of nowhere and stops the beat down from happening. And then Sonya rushes and put her jacket back on. All of what I'm saying sounds absolutely crazy as I'm saying it to you. So I can only imagine when people watch this video back, they're going to be like, what the fuck is he talking about? But this is what we witnessed on TV tonight for those who watched the show. And Naomi says that you ruined my match against Charlotte. I almost had her beat, which Naomi almost did have her beat. And then Adam said, yes, Sonya, you were wrong for that. So I thought in that moment, Adam was going to say, hey, you were wrong. We're going to give Naomi her match. But instead, against you, Sonya. But instead, he says, we're going to give Naomi a championship contenders match against Charlotte. That doesn't mean anything. It's just a match against Naomi and Charlotte. It's not like Naomi's going to be the number one contender. It's not like Naomi's going to win the championship. It's just another match against Naomi and Charlotte, which I don't mind seeing because it's something different, and we haven't seen it that often, and they work really well together. Like I was saying last week, you can tell who Charlotte wants to sell for and who Charlotte doesn't want to sell for. And Naomi's one of those girls that she likes to work with. But the base of it is about your jacket being on and your jacket being off. I really want them to move on. If we're not getting Sonya back in the ring, that's fine. But let's move on, please. Let's move. I do not want to see this match at WrestleMania, whether I'm there in person or I'm live, watching it on TV. I do not want to see it in person. Next we have a segment where I paid absolutely no attention to. Kofi Kingston versus Madcap. He's out there by himself. Xavier Woods is injured. Kofi entered himself into the Rumble. The match happened. Madcap wins. I paid zero attention to the match. Zero. So since I paid zero attention, let's move on to the next and final segment of the night. The last segment of the night was the face-to-face conversation between Roman and Seth Rollins. Seth is a Raw superstar. Seth was just in the day one match for the WWE Championship that Brock Lesnar won. Seth was just in a number one contendership to see who would face Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble. Seth is a Raw superstar. Seth is a Raw superstar. Why is he facing Roman? Well, he's facing Roman because they don't have anybody else. They don't want to build up anybody else. They refuse to build up anybody else. They don't care to build up anybody else. It's just one of those things where they're just going to find somebody and put it together because Roman has to have these big matches all the time. But Roman can have these big matches if you just build the people up on his division. Why can't you have a Roman versus a Ricochet? Why can't you have a Roman versus well, damn, I don't even know who else on the roster that would be good for him. But why can't you have those matches and find people and build up? You had Keith Lee, you could have left them on a roster. You had Aleister Black, who could have been on the roster. Karrion Kross could have been on the roster. You could bring up Walter. You could bring up Pete Dunne. You could bring up Tommaso Ciampa. Those are people that could be on the roster with Roman Reigns, and they could go against him, and they could pull out really good matches. Because eventually he has to lose the title. What are you going to keep the title unto him till next year to see if The Rock is going to show up at WrestleMania next year? I mean, I could see them doing it because there's no contenders for him. We're going to keep finding people from different different shows to go against him, but that's absolutely crazy. They have a nice little back and forth, and regardless of Seth being a Raw superstar and them having no contenders for Roman, it's going to be a really good match. I mean, I'm not going to doubt that. It's going to probably might be the match of the night. It might be one of Roman's best matches because one thing about Seth, he will bring the best out of you, and same with Roman. And they know each other so well, so I'm sure it'll be a great match. Seth goes on to tell Roman that he pretty much, Roman goes on to tell Seth that he's pretty much the greatest of the past and of this generation. And Seth pretty much goes on to tell Roman that he couldn't do anything without him. I carried your hand, whether we were working in somewhere else or whether we was part of the Shield. I made you who you are. Without me, you are nobody. I can break you. And Roman goes on to tell him, you're not a superstar. You don't have the power, nor do you have the credibility that I have. And you're not even the most important person in your household. The most important person in your household is your wife. I'd rather be in the main event against your wife. And then the Usos come out and they try to attack Seth, and they really don't. And Seth gets out the ring, and that's that. It's not a good build. Again, you have your major 4 events, which are the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and what's the other one? WrestleMania. And you don't build towards them. You don't build towards them at all. It's just you throw something together, you get out there, and they turn out to be good pay-per-views, but the superstars have to work really, really hard to make it a good pay-per-view. And that's not fair to them And it's not fair to the fans that we sit to see what the build's going to be, but it's no build. It's nothing going on. So, you know, I, I don't know. I tried, I'm trying to get myself happy and things for it, but I just, I I can't. I can't. So we're gonna see what happens next week. I think after next week, we have one more build, I think, and then we off to Royal Rumble. And I have no idea who's gonna be. I don't even know who's in the running to win the Rumble for the men. I don't even know who's in the running to win the Rumble for the women. I just know who I want to win. And that's it. Other than that, there's no clear winners for the Rumble. There's no clear winners for much of anything, except for maybe Lashley and Brock. There may be a clear winner there. And of course, Seth and Roman. I don't see them giving Seth the title. It really wouldn't make any sense. It would defeat the whole purpose. That's it. That's it. So I'm still getting the hang of the stream thing. So if there's anybody who is watching or will be watching this video, if you can recommend any kind of streams that I can use to help me, that works really, really well, especially with mobile devices, because I don't like my MacBook camera. I don't really like. I like the iPhone camera better. Send me a comment. As you can see going across the screen, like, comment, and subscribe. I want to thank my 28 subscribers so far. I just started this channel maybe about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks ago, and I'm really, really impressed with the numbers that I'm doing as far as views, and I'm impressed with the subscribership. So I want to keep building up. The more I do this, the more I get comfortable talking in front of the camera. I'll be a natural soon. But I do want to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel, and I will want to thank everybody who's going to subscribe to my channel and enjoy my content. And I'm just a guy out here trying to have some fun and talk about the things that I want to talk about. And I'll see you guys on Monday for Monday Night Raw, where we'll see repeats on top of repeats. Again, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching the stream. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. I'm begging you. Turn on your notifications, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.